Hello and welcome to this edition of Legislative Report. I'm State Representative Doyle Heffley. Earlier this month, I visited the Pennsylvania Farm Show, the largest indoor agricultural expo in the country, and I spent some time talking to folks who are knowledgeable about some ag issues that are very important to Carbon County and all of Pennsylvania. The spotted lanternfly problem, the state of our dairy industry, and concerns about the avian flu, which can wipe out entire flocks of chickens. On this month's program, I want to share portions of those conversations with you. We're here today with Karen Wolkowitz from the Penn State Extension, Berks County, and we wanted to talk a little bit to Karen about the display you have behind us here and what some of the ramifications and the effects are of a new invasive species, which many people have heard of now, the spotted lanternfly.
So it actually came into this country in 2014. And people didn't understand at that point what the problem would be. It's actually a beautiful insect, but it can do a lot of damage. One of the main concerns now is for the vineyards, the grapes, and also hops, which might be important to some of the viewers.
Yeah, and from what I'm told right now, there's certain areas that have been quarantined across the state. Certain areas in Berks County and in Carbon County, the 122nd district, we now are seeing the spotted lanternfly there. And there's several different phases that the spotted lanternfly, and as they go through the different phases, that right now the thing that people should be looking for would be the egg masses or the egg sacs.
Yes.
And what color and how would we identify that between that or say an egg sac from a spider or a gypsy moth, which also we want to destroy the gypsy moth egg sacs as well.
Okay, so these are very distinctive. They have a putty-like look. The eggs are laid 30 to 50 in a mass, and sometimes you'll see them sticking out. They are in rows, and then a putty covers them, and over time it becomes cracked. So what people want to do right now is if they find these putty-like masses, you want to scrape them off of the tree or whatever hard surface they're on with something like a hard card. We are giving out some little packs for people. You can't just scrape them onto the ground because they're still viable. Okay. So you need to scrape them into a baggie full of either rubbing alcohol or hand sanitizer, and then you would seal that and dispose of that properly.
I know one of the things in the conversations that we had last year at the farm show talking about gypsy moth was some people would say if you would take Dawn dish detergent and mix it with water and spray the gypsy moth sacks, or when you knock them down, put them in a container that would hold dish detergent and water, that it would kill them as well. Is that true as well for the spotted lanternfly?
Penn State Extension recommends that you not use Dawn dish detergent outdoors. Now, okay, if you are going to contain it in a container, that would be okay. Dawn dish detergent, we do not know what the ingredients are. It's not made to be put outdoors. We would prefer that you use a pesticide if you need to use something like that, because that has a label which is a legal document. If you want to do something when the nymphs or adults are out that's non-toxic, you can band your trees with sticky tree bands. The nymphs have sticky bottoms of their feet, so they stick very readily to the tree band. You can cut the tree bands down to a small size to hopefully minimize bycatch of birds and things like that. You can also put a cage around the sticky trap so as not to catch squirrels and birds.
Okay. So right now, what people would be looking for would be the egg sacs.
Only the egg masses are available right now. The next thing will be the nymphs. They start out as small, black. They look like ticks, but with white spots. You can tell the difference between a tick and a nymph because they're very active. If you come up to them, they're going to really move around, whereas ticks don't really do that. You'll find them on plants. The adults that everybody is becoming familiar with do not come until later in the season, like July.
Now, the nymphs will attack younger plants. And from what my understanding, they will kind of drill into the plant and they pull the sap out, and the adults will attack larger plants. So really what we're looking at possibly could devastate
our young trees in our forests, from maple trees to oak trees, apple trees, and grapevines. So any of those plants are very susceptible, and this could really devastate Pennsylvania forests. One of the things that people are being told is that when they're traveling right now with the egg sacs, is to inspect their vehicles. If you're going on a long distance travel, maybe look at your camper. If you're taking a camper, they like to lay their egg sacs on a smooth, flat metal surface and scrape them off and make sure that you're looking. The last thing you want to do is be transporting them and spreading them.
So we're discovering it's not just metal surfaces. They do seem to like metal. They do like rust. They like things that vibrate, so machinery. But we've found them even on the soft outdoor cushions on your furniture. So turn the things over. If you are finding those putty masses, make sure you destroy those. They can be on anything. So on a vehicle, we recommend that you look on the undercarriage. If at all possible, pop the hood, look in the engine compartment. If you're just moving around within the quarantine zone, it's not necessary to do that. It's whether if you're moving in and out of the quarantine zone. We don't want to see people moving them to areas where they haven't been. And one point to make is even if you're in a quarantine zone, not all areas of your county have the infestation. In Berks County, where they came in, which is where I live, there are still parts of the county that do not have the spotted lanternfly.
So I think what the public needs to know, the bugs are not, they don't sting, they don't bite, they're not irritating in that regard. However, they could be totally devastating to our forests and also to our farmers, the apple orchards, the peach orchards, the pear trees, all these young trees, and even as the insects get larger, will attack larger trees, are very susceptible. What they do is they pull the sap out of the tree and the tree eventually would die.
Yes. Some people are saying that they think they've been bitten. That's impossible. It is a sucking mouth part. They do not suck on people. So I think people just are a little leery when they see this creepy crawly insect. With the grapevines, they eat the vines, not the grapes, but they do affect the sugar content of the grapes and the wine. They can kill young trees. We've seen that happen. The biggest tree that they like the most is the tree of heaven, also called the ailanthus tree. So one of the things that we're trying to do is to eradicate the ailanthus tree.
Which is also an invasive species.
Which nothing else, thank goodness, feeds on. So you will not kill beneficial insects by killing those trees. You can do a trap tree where you poison the tree so that all of the insects flock to that tree and are poisoned when they feed on it, and it doesn't kill the tree. So we'll kill most of the trees by hack and squirt method, because you can't just, again, it's hard to kill. You can't just kill them. And then we leave some trap trees that are poisoned, and then the bugs feed on those. And literally, you can get them, up to 6 inches deep around the base of the tree when they're dead.
So I guess we're about out of time right now for this segment, but what we really want to do is, so if somebody is looking for more information, they think maybe they've seen these on their property, or maybe they're having somewhat of an infestation, how can they reach out? How can they contact the Penn State Extension? The Penn State Extension operates in pretty much every county across the Commonwealth. There's one in Carbon County. It's located right next to the Mock Chunk watershed. And if anybody needs information, they can contact my office. But what's the best way to get in touch with the Penn State Extension in their local areas?
They can contact the Penn State Extension by phone, or they can go online, because all of Penn State Extension has a website, and then it's broken down by counties. You can also contact your local conservation district. So every county also has a conservation district, and they have funding to help against this pest. So up to this point, it's mostly been commercial properties that they have been contacting. Now there is a little bit of money in Berks County, I'm not sure about other areas, for larger homeowner properties that have a lot of tree of heaven. But Penn State Extension or local conservation district is your best bet.
And thank you. And if you are in the area of the Pennsylvania Farm Show, stop down and visit the booth here and pick up some more information, or you can contact my office and we can get to that information out to you. Thank you. We are here at the Delaware Valley University booth here, and we're with Ethan Arsenal. And Ethan, tell everybody your title and what you do at Delaware Valley.
So I'm the assistant manager at Delaware Valley, and I oversee 20 student employees and a herd of about 120 total dairy cows. And we have all different breeds, and the farm is utilized in many of the classes for labs and things like that. So we get a lot of students that come down the farms to do on-hands learning.
Now, obviously, agriculture is one of Pennsylvania's largest industries, if not the first or second largest industry. 1 out of every 7 jobs in the state of Pennsylvania is somehow related to food production. Now, in recent days, and over the last few years, there's been a very large impact on the dairy industry. How are we preparing the farmers of tomorrow? How are we preparing this industry to cope with some of those challenges and adapt and still be, a significant and vital economic driver here for the Commonwealth?
Well, I think we're trying to emphasize the importance of managing financials. That's something we've really done at Del Val with our dairy science students. We have a course, Dairy Business Analysis, where we teach the students how to analyze the dairy business. Can they leverage more debt? Can they expand? Can they, maintain current functions? And I think we're emphasizing that to dairy farmers, that they need to be better managers with their financials and things like that. Not that dairymen weren't always good managers of their financials, it's just you need to be a little bit more on the edge with that. But we're also trying to get dairy farmers to expand and to get into a little bit more of a niche market, find some ways to get some supplemental income, whether it's from, a separate business of selling hay or grain, or, branching out, maybe making your own butter or cheese or soaps or things like that to try to bring in more income.
I know one of the big focuses that we've had across the state, and this is kind of up the chain in food production, is really looking to attract more and more food producers and manufacturers, people that can take the milk and convert it, whether it be into yogurt, whether it be into ice cream, other dairy products, cheeses. And there's also, I know here at the farm show, and if anybody has the opportunity to stop out, there's a lot of different niche cheese producers here, and they use different types of milks from different cattle that are fed different things, and they take that and they make different types of cheeses. And if you get the chance to go over and sample some, it's very good. Now, one of the big issues that a lot of dairy farmers have expressed to me is we need to drink more milk. Now, milk consumption has gone down across the Commonwealth, and it's one of the things we're promoting is to try to encourage people. Milk is a very healthy drink, and we're encouraging more people to actually drink milk, therefore helping out the dairy industry.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think we should see some changes here with the new nutritional guidelines. I'm really hopeful that now that they're allowing just other milks aside from skim milk and chocolate milk back into the schools and cafeterias, hopefully that'll, get more milk moving. And I think, if kids are able to fall in love with the product at a younger age and realize that I like milk as my drink instead of going for that Gatorade or that soda, to me, I think we'll get more milk drinkers in the future. I don't like skim milk, and when that's all you're serving kids and they're not going to like it either, they're not going to go for that product, and they're not going to know that it is a great nutritional product. But yeah, skim milk is good for some people, but not all.
Well, thank you, Ethan, for your time, and thank you for your commitment to the agricultural industry. Now, did you grow up in the industry? How did you get involved in this?
So I was not fortunate enough to be born on a farm, but a local farmer kind of took me in under their wing. I did grow up on a farm in New York. We milked around 550 cows and cropped 15,000 acres. So it was a little bit of a larger scale farm, but it was still very much family oriented, and they were very active in the community, and that's how I was able to get involved.
Well, thank you, Ethan, for your time today and explaining a little bit of some of the blight and some of the opportunities that dairy farmers face across our Commonwealth. And I would encourage everybody to go out, drink milk. It's a healthy alternative, vitamin D, calcium packed full of it, very healthy, good, refreshing drink. Also, when you're out there and you're purchasing any kind of farm products, whether it be eggs, dairy, always look for that PA preferred label. That's signifying that product was produced and grown right here in the state of Pennsylvania. Thank you, Ethan. We're here with Katie Butler. Katie Butler from Regalsville, Pennsylvania, and you are currently an ag education student at Delaware Valley University. And we're talking to Katie. And Katie, could you tell all our viewers back home where you originally hail from?
Yeah, so my family, I was raised a little while in Lehigh, and my dad was a golf course superintendent. He did graduate from Del Val for turf management, so that's how we ended up over there. And then I kind of wandered all over the place with my family, got into back into Regalsville with my family, and just kind of grew up always around animals.
And now your father was in turf management, so that's kind of farming in a sense. That's a difficult job.
Yeah.
Now, what are you looking forward to? What do you like about agriculture? Where do you see ag education going in the future? And now you're a freshman, correct? So
Yep.
where do you see pursuing your career? And what would you say to folks that are interested in taking this avenue into ag education?
I think anybody who's interested in it should definitely go for it. I feel like there's a lot of false information out there, and what I'm looking forward to in going into ag education, I just want to teach people the rights and wrongs and, the truth versus like all the facts you hear, like the false information, because there's a lot of misconceptions about animals and farming and all that different kinds of stuff. So going through this, I just want to reach out to other people and give them a better understanding of why we do what we do on the farms.
And agriculture is very important, and there's a lot of things that go involved in it. People they go to the shelf and they see that they pick up a carton of milk or buy some cheese off the shelf. Preferred, I hope, because that's Pennsylvania preferred products.
Yes.
But there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of hard work. Farmers get up early hours and they work late into the day. Milking dairy cows have to be milked twice a day, every day.
Yep.
And there's also a lot of care that goes into managing those animals. So is that one of the things that they focus on at Delaware Valley? The care that goes in, whether it be dairy cattle or dairy cows or pigs or chickens or anything like that. Is how to keep those animals healthy. The bird flu is something that significantly could impact turkey farms.
Oh, yeah.
And those are all the things that you learn about in ag education. You want to relay that back to the public.
Yeah, we learn a lot about that in our education there at school, and taking care of the animals is a huge deal down at the school. We do have a lot of the students get hands-on experience working down at the different farms, working with the different animals, and then we also have courses that offer labs where we can go and work with the animals and really get so much hands-on experience, more than we would just anywhere else. So we learn about different diseases and different products and foods that could really help our animals here at the school, but also ones at home, or like when we get out into the real world, basically, of things we can do to better the agriculture business.
Now, what do you think of the farm show? Are you having a good time? Did you get a milkshake? How many milkshakes? Now, this is what, the third day of the farm show, or fourth day? How many milkshakes have you had this week?
Oh, I've been here for a while, so I think maybe today will probably be my 11th or 12th milkshake.
Is there a limit on the amount of milkshakes that a college student can consume at one farm show?
Oh, no, never.
No? No limit.
And you keep going on those milkshakes until you can't drink anymore, for sure.
Well, that is one thing. And if anybody would question or doubt the quality of Pennsylvania agricultural products, I would challenge them to come out to the farm show, grab a milkshake, grab some potato donuts, sample the different foods from across this Commonwealth, and definitely remind people to shop and buy Pennsylvania products and come on out and enjoy the farm show.
Yeah.
Thank you, Katie. It's great to see you, and I wish you all the best in your future.
Thank you.
Yep. And we are here at the farm show in the poultry division, and we're looking at eggs here, and we have a lot of chickens. You have some hatching chickens down across the way, and we're here with April Robb. And April, now you work with the 4-H, and you're also here on the poultry committee. If you could tell the viewers back at home a little bit about what you do and what you know about eggs.
Well, eggs are the great food, so everything's in there. In Westmoreland County, we have a poultry division. All of our kids, I'm the county leader as far as the poultry and getting all of them in their 4-H groups. So there's 87 groups in Westmoreland County. They all come and we teach them how to bath their birds, get their birds ready for the shows, how to transport. As far as the eggs, what goes in the egg is what the chicken eats. So you can have a white egg layer, a brown egg layer, a green egg layer. As long as they eat the same food, it's the same contents in the egg. The difference between the egg color shell, because you're not eating the shell, is based on the chicken's earlobe. So white earlobes, for instance, right behind us, there's a black La Fleche over there, but she has a white earlobe. She lays a white egg. But the black bird beside her has a brown earlobe. She lays a brown egg. The only two exceptions are Americanas and Aracanas, and they are a jungle fowl. So they lay a green or a blue egg because that's the camouflage that they would have in the jungle.
So this is fascinating to me, because I gotta say to all the viewers back home, I have never known that if you have a brown egg or a white egg. Now I know if I've had eggs, family members that have had chickens and have had, they're the free range chickens.
You want to eat
and
the brown eggs because they're the homegrown eggs.
And you can definitely taste the different types of eggs and you can taste the difference in the eggs. But so you're saying that the earlobe color of the chicken determines whether it's a brown egg or a white egg.
Yes, and there's variations of brown. So we have like a darker brown here. There's also a chocolate brown that the copper Morans do because they have a reddish brown earlobe. And then the beige is also considered a brown. But those are all brown egg layers. Yes, it's definitely their earlobe, except for those two that lay the green and the blue egg.
And those
they're a jungle fowl.
Okay.
They're called Americanas and Aracanas. We do have two over here, so you guys could always get a picture of them. But they lay a green or a blue colored egg.
And the green eggs, do they come with ham?
Yes.
No, but all joking aside, and thank you for being here with us today. Now, what I wanted to ask a little bit on a serious note, and what's really impacting poultry, whether it be egg farmers or anybody that deals with chickens or any kind of birds, whether it be turkeys, is the bird flu, the avian influenza, influenza, and how that is impacting the industries here in Pennsylvania, and what are farmers doing to ensure that their birds are staying healthy?
Well, the avian influenza is transportable. So if you're taking your birds, we take a chance on bringing them here. If someone, let's say in the public, would happen to have avian influenza in one of their animals, and then they're touching your birds, it can be spread that way. But the easiest way is biosecurity. So when you leave your farm, you don't go to somebody else's farm with the same clothes, same boots, everything. If you take your birds somewhere, when your birds come back, your birds are quarantined for a period of time, usually 30 days. And it helps with the, just like you, if you touched everything in here, how many germs you're going to have on your hands? If you don't wash them with warm soap and water or use a sanitizer, you're carrying all those germs. So you touch your face, it's transportable that way. So farms around this area, by not moving their flocks around to different people or allowing people to come into your area, we have actually a wash basin that you have to step your feet into. It's Clorox and water. It's the simplest disinfectant. But you step your boots in, if you have rubber boots on, before you come into any of our barns or our property, and you do the same thing before you go out, because I don't want you taking anything if we had something.
And it's very important now. In other countries, there have been cases where the avian influenza has humans have contracted that, but it's not something that we're seeing here. But the big threat really is to agriculture. Is if that comes in, it can wipe out pretty much a farm. It could wipe out a farmer and their livelihood,
right.
Really, because they would have to destroy those birds then.
Well, in other countries, the difference is the common denominator is a pig and a chicken. That's how it gets transported to a person. Okay. And it's by undercooking your food. Understandable? Okay. Here, yes, we don't want to transport that because, yes, it does destroy a lot of birds because you don't know. Once they're infected, they're always infected. They may survive it, but would you want to eat something that you know maybe had the avian influenza?
And that's why I think programs like the Farm Show and the different work that's done through the Penn State Extension, through the 4-H, and all the different programs that are out there in support of agriculture across the state. And it's a lot of fun to come to the farm show. But agriculture is a huge industry here in our Commonwealth. It's a lot of jobs, it's a lot of economic development inside of this Commonwealth, and that's why the Penn State Extension, that's why Pennsylvania, that's why we have the Department of Agriculture, Secretary of Agriculture, and why we're on top of these programs. It's why the 4-H program is so important to, and why coming to the farm show and learning, you know, if you're going to a farm, how to conduct yourselves, and that you want to make sure that you're not carrying anything onto that farm. Once again, encourage people to educate themselves on the avian influenza. Earlier in the program, we met with the folks from Delaware Valley and talked about the dairy industry. Encourage people to drink more milk, but also, you know, be aware and knowledgeable on that industry. And we talked a little bit earlier to the Penn State Extension about the invasive species of the spotted lanternfly, which is a big one right now, which will impact many of our industries in agriculture. So I would definitely encourage people to get informed, learn about these programs. You can visit my website at repheffley.com and you know, pick up any of the flyers or information at our offices.
To the official unveiling of the 2019 butter sculpture. This year marks the 29th year that this buttery masterpiece has entertained the crowds here at the Pennsylvania Farm Show.
This has become a central feature of the annual farm show in Pennsylvania.
It is inspired by the 6,500 dairy farm families whose stories, diverse and rich, inspire Pennsylvania's story. So to each of the dairy farm families in Pennsylvania, we say thank you.
On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. This year's sculpture, choose PA Dairy and find your power.
It's at least 1,000 pounds of butter we got in there, and 5 figures, and they're kind of like the superheroes of the dairy world, you know? And they're talking about like their power sources, dairy products, and so that's the basic idea with the whole thing. That's why they have capes and everything. I guess like the idea of superheroes today, because it's in the news and in the entertainment world a lot, and so they're doing it in the dairy as well.
These are depicted as superheroes, but they're also ordinary people as well. So we have Marilyn, who is the dairy farmer. We have a doctor who is actually advocating for healthy, a healthy lifestyle and drinking milk.
There are many ways to tell the story of dairy, but there's no more creative way than through 1,000 pounds of butter.
That's all the time we have for this program. I'm State Representative Doyle Heffley. If you have any questions about what you've just seen, or if I can help you with any state-related issues, please contact me at my district office or through my website. That information will be on your screen in a moment. Thanks for watching, and please join me next time for my legislative report.